I don't know. Angel Reese. She might have tapped out, y'all. Angel Reese may have tapped out and quit on the Chicago Sky. Everybody is speculating. What is this back injury? What's going on? Hey.
Angel Reese has walked out on the Chicago Sky again. No warning, no spin, she just quit. Fans are livid, teammates blindsided, and the drama is hotter than a reality TV meltdown. Is this the end of her WNBA career or the setup for her boldest move yet? What went down behind the scenes is pure chaos, and you won't believe it until you hear it.
The world wants to know. The whole world is wondering, where in the world is Batman? I'm joking. I want to know, us Chicago Sky fans, women's basketball, WNBA, Angel Reese fans, where in the world?
Angel Reese quitting on the Chicago Sky is about as shocking as the sun rising in the east. I called it weeks ago, but now everyone's acting like it's the sports scandal of the decade. Please. This is just Angel being Angel, addicted to the spotlight, allergic to hard work. She's not here to grind for wins or fight for loose balls. She's here to pose for cameras, chase likes, and headline the gossip cycle. The moment real effort's required, she vanishes, faster than a missed free throw in the fourth when the game's on the line.
I find it very symbolic, very almost funny but not funny. Not funny haha but funny sad, that out of all the bodily injuries that Angel Reese, a player, could experience, she's experiencing a back injury. Her back is literally hurting. And is it because that she is tired of carrying the weight of the Chicago Sky on her back, being that floor general and that floor leader? Did the Chicago Sky break Angel Reese's back?
This Rookie of the Year debate between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? Please. It was never close. It was close the same way I'm close to buying a $20 million mansion, purely hypothetical, existing only in the minds of people desperate for a juicy storyline. The media kept it alive because drama drives clicks, and Clark runs away with it doesn't sell. Reese's name stayed in play because she's a walking headline, loud, flashy, and built for social media buzz. But the game tape? The stats? They weren't screaming dominance. They were politely whispering, maybe next year.
Listen, everybody is ablaze right now. Everybody's wondering, what is really going on with Angel Reese? Has she just flat out quit again? Has she quit on the Chicago Sky? Angel, you have to have some level of self-awareness here. Last year with the Chicago Sky, you quit. You threw in the towel. Once you realized you never stood a chance, to be honest, with Caitlin Clark for that Rookie of the Year. But once you realized your double streak was over, and it was over. She took over post-Olympic break. Once you realized it was done.
You know who I blame for this whole circus? Everyone who kept propping her up like she was the second coming of basketball greatness for doing the bare minimum. Every commentator who treated a double-double in garbage time like a once-in-a-generation feat, every fan who mistook a few flashy poses and side-eye for leadership. You fed the hype machine until it needed its own jersey number. You turned basic effort into a Hall of Fame moment, and now the Chicago Sky are living the truth. When you hand the keys to someone who doesn't even want to drive, don't be surprised when the season ends up in a ditch.
Yeah, she did wear the villain role on her sleeve, no doubt about that. She didn't do a lot to help herself when she was winning the NCAA championship last year against Iowa, and she was taunting Caitlin Clark. But did we forget that Caitlin Clark had been doing the same thing to numerous opponents throughout that season last year? That it wasn't until she was humbled in that national championship game against LSU that she dialed it back a little bit? You can't want to be the villain. You can't pride yourself in being the villain, and then you lose, and all of a sudden you succumb to those emotions. That is true to some degree. But usually when you lose and you have an opportunity to sit back and reflect, there's a mountain of emotions that get heaped on your shoulders, and it's hard to hold it in. Not to mention when teammates are coming to your defense because they realize how the insults against you have been so personal.
Chicago isn't home for Angel, it's Maryland 2.0, another flashy pit stop on her endless look at me tour. She's already eyeing her next LSU, a ready-made, stacked roster where she can parachute in, let the grinders take the hits, and strike a pose for the victory pics. that's her whole playbook: skip the foundation, dodge the blueprints, and slide straight into a move-in ready championship house. She's not the mastermind, the builder, or the engine of success. She's the tenant who shows up after the work's done, moves the furniture around, and brags about how great her place looks.
Making this something that isn't. She's got a back injury. Like, I'm not going to be out here saying that Angel Reese needs to go out and play through a damn back injury. I just don't think is the case, especially when your team is as bad as it is. Like, absolutely just stinking it up constantly. Like the Chicago Sky.
The Sky didn't just draft Angel Reese, they bought season tickets, front row, to every dramatic exit and every "I'm not feeling it" moment. And if Reese ever threw in the towel, it'd take her 4 tries to get it anywhere near the court. Reese plays basketball for one person, herself. Not for teammates, not for fans, and sure as hell not for the franchise. She's chasing attention, endorsements, interviews, and Instagram likes. The second things get tough, poof, she's gone. Caitlin Clark is the complete opposite. She cares about her craft. She wants to win, she's hungry to improve, and she grinds when no one's watching. Clark doesn't need to be the loudest person in the room, because she's the one hitting the shots that make the room explode. Reese? She's over in the corner making sure the lighting's perfect for her post-game outfit shot. One rookie is building a career, the other is building a brand and praying no one notices the difference.
You threw in the towel, said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year. You threw in the towel and said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year and didn't play again. This past the inaugural season of Unrivaled, you didn't even finish that season. You didn't even show up for the championship. No, not only did you not play, you didn't even show up to the game at all. People noticing a pattern with you. That's 2 seasons in a row.
Let's talk leadership. Real leaders shoulder the load. They own the losses, spread the wins, and set the tone. Reese? She's allergic to accountability. You'll never hear, "Yeah, that one's on me." Instead, it's all shrugs and side-eye, like the problem is everyone else. When your game plan is to ride coattails, you can't admit you're the one slowing the horse down. Workouts or the film sessions that make champions, and here's the twisted part, she'll get more attention for quitting than half the league gets for winning. That's the luxury of being brand first. The headlines keep coming whether you show up or not. Quit once, maybe it's a story. Quit twice, it's your resume. At this point, Angel Reese isn't shocking anyone. She's made disappearing her trademark move, the WNBA's Houdini, except without the mystery.
Listen, Angel Reese has thrown in the towel. She refuses to travel with the team. Once again, the team has a road game. We already saw she refused to travel with the team to Indiana versus the Fever. Now they head to Connecticut to take on the worst team in the league. Yes, they finally went against a team that is worse than them, the Connecticut Sun.
And here's the kicker, even with all this drama, Reese will still find a way to spin it into some self-care or empowerment narrative, because that's what plays on Instagram. Give it a week and she'll be on a podcast talking about how she had to protect her peace, while conveniently skipping over the part where peace apparently meant avoiding her actual job. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out there grinding like minutes are oxygen, taking hits, drawing double teams, and still producing. That's the difference between chasing greatness and chasing clout. Chicago Sky fans deserve better than a player who treats the season like a side hustle. They deserve someone who shows up when the lights are bright and when the arena's half empty, who puts in the work when no one's watching. Angel Reese isn't that player. She's the star of her own movie, and the rest of the team? Just set decoration. If the Sky are smart, they'll treat this as a wake-up call. Stop drafting hype, start drafting heart. Hype gets you headlines in July, heart gets you trophies in September.
Nobody knew what had happened on the day, nothing had happened, then somebody got into Angel Reese's ear to say that this happened, and she then doubled and tripled down, saying that something happened even though she didn't hear it herself. And then she's there reposting tweets, or reposting TikToks saying that Gamebridge is dangerous for her, and it's a danger if she goes to Gamebridge, and all of this crap. Like, so Angel has done all.
The sad part is, Reese has the talent. She's not some random pickup, she's got the size, the skills, the tools to dominate. But talent without effort is like a sports car without gas, looks great in the driveway, doesn't win any races. And Reese? She's more interested in being seen in the driver's seat than crossing the finish line. So no, I'm not shocked she quit again. I said it weeks ago, and I'll say it now, Angel Reese doesn't want to play ball, she wants to be famous. And as long as people keep giving her the fame without demanding the grind, she'll keep playing the same game, just not the one on the court. If she finds her next LSU, I hope the team knows the package deal, smiles for the cameras when things are good, disappears the second the tide turns. No refunds, no exchanges, no championships guaranteed. Angel Reese has been running this play for years. Forget the Eurostep or the no-look pass, her signature move is the disappearing act when her team needs her most. And yet, people still talk like she's just waiting for the right moment to shine. No. This is the right moment. And she's walking away from it, again.
Some speculation going on saying, like, of course, because she has injured her back, unfortunately, at the tender age of 23, might I add, that she is still going through the rehabilitation process. But people are so anxious to see just when exactly will Angel Reese return in this current 2025 season. Because again, guys, today is what, August 14th. The freaking playoffs is just some weeks away, and we all know, again, we got to have that come to Jesus moment. If you haven't had it yet, come here, come to me. We can have it together. Listen, look at me in my eyes and see that I ain't lying. We're not going into the playoffs, guys. I'm sorry.
This is what happens when you build a player's brand before you build their resume. From day one, Reese was treated like a cultural phenomenon rather than a developing rookie. Every time she scored, it was plastered all over social media with flashy graphics and hashtags. Meanwhile, the actual numbers told a much quieter story. But the hype machine doesn't care about context, it cares about clicks, and Angel delivered those by the truckload. It's not that she's incapable of playing at a high level, it's that she's unwilling to do it when it requires sustained effort. There's a difference between having talent and having drive. Talent gets you drafted. Drive gets you rings. And Angel? She's got one foot firmly in the talent camp and the other foot planted in the VIP section of her own brand launch party. The Rookie of the Year race between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese was never close. I'll say it again, because apparently it needs repeating, it was only close on paper because the media needed drama. Clark is out there putting up historic numbers, carrying a team, and elevating everyone around her. Reese? She's out there curating an Instagram feed. The work ethic gap between the two could swallow half the league. You don't even have to be a diehard fan to see it. Watch one game. Clark runs the floor like every possession is her last. She takes charges, she dives for loose balls, she fights through screens. Reese? She jogs through plays like she's pacing herself for a fashion show walk-off. And when the game starts slipping away? Clark digs in, Reese checks out.
We did a show early in the week about Jason Whitlock talking about she quit on the Chicago Sky. She gave up on the WNBA. She really don't want to play basketball. And this is all surrounding around her back injury.
Chicago Sky fans bought into the hype because they were sold the idea that Reese was going to be a franchise cornerstone. But instead of a foundation, they got a billboard, flashy, eye-catching, but not actually holding anything up. You can't build around someone whose commitment has a half-life shorter than a TikTok trend. And here's where it gets really painful, Chicago isn't LSU. They don't have the same talent cushion. At LSU, Reese could ride the wave because she was surrounded by players who could carry the load. In the WNBA, every team is stacked with elite talent, and if you're not pulling your weight, it shows. Fast. The Sky didn't need a passenger, they needed a driver. They drafted someone who wanted to be chauffeured. I said weeks ago she was going to quit. It wasn't clairvoyance, it was pattern recognition. She's been looking for an exit since the moment the season stopped being about her. And now she's making that exit, again. While her teammates are left holding the bag. And let's be clear, this isn't just about winning or losing. This is about respect for the game. If you love basketball, you show up whether you're up by 20 or down by 30. You fight through slumps, you push through bad shooting nights, you take the criticism, and you come back stronger. You don't ghost your team when things get tough. That's not leadership, that's self-preservation disguised as empowerment.
Oh, the grace from the basketball gods and goddesses that we cannot beat the Connecticut Sun. Do you know the Connecticut Sun is ranked number 13 in the WNBA league? There's 13 teams. They're ranked dead last. Whereas we, the Chicago Sky, we're ranked number 11. Now, granted, yes, this happened at their court today, okay? It was the Connecticut Sun's home game. That's no excuse. And
meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is the embodiment of showing up. She doesn't coast on reputation, she earns it every game. And that's why, no matter how many debates the media tries to manufacture, Clark is already pulling ahead in ways that can't be measured in stat sheets alone. She's building trust, she's proving her worth, and she's making it impossible to question her commitment. If Reese thinks she can keep bouncing from team to team until she finds another LSU situation, she's in for a rude awakening. The pros don't work like that. The WNBA is too competitive, too small, and too unforgiving for coattail riders to thrive long term. You can fake it in college if your team is stacked enough, but in this league? You get exposed fast. And once your reputation is set, good luck shaking it. The Sky made their bed when they drafted her, and now they're lying in it, and it's about as comfortable as sleeping on a pile of game day towels that never made it to the laundry. They wanted a star, they got a soap opera. And the sad part? This was preventable. All the warning signs were there. She's not quitting because she's burned out from carrying the team, she's quitting because she's tired of not being the center of the universe. If the cameras aren't on her, the interest evaporates. And that's fine if you're in reality TV. But in pro sports, attention follows performance, not the other way around.
Tyler Marsh gives a major update surrounding around Angel Reese's back injury, and you guys are not going to believe what he said.
Some people will still defend her, saying she's just figuring things out or still young. Sure, she's young. So is Clark. The difference? Clark is figuring out how to win games, not how to win headlines. At some point, youth stops being an excuse and starts being a convenient cover for bad habits. And the towel joke? I stand by it. If Reese threw in the towel, it would take at least 4 tries for it to land anywhere near the court. Because just like her commitment, her aim is inconsistent. Who treat every possession like it matters? Reese is not that player. She's the one making sure the spotlight is positioned just right, even if the scoreboard says otherwise. At the end of the day, Reese's career will be defined by moments like this unless she changes course. And honestly, I don't think she wants to. Change requires work, and work isn't part of her current game plan. She's too comfortable playing the role of misunderstood star, the victim of unfair expectations, the rebel who walks away on her own terms. The irony is, she could be great. She could silence every critic by locking in, grinding, and proving she's more than the drama. But greatness requires sacrifice, and right now, the only thing she's willing to sacrifice is practice time.
it's Angel Reese, okay? Of course she was missing in last night's game, where we ultimately, the Chicago Sky, we got defeated by the Connecticut Sun, the worst ranked team in the league currently. They're the worst ranked team. And on top of that, we see 3 ejections. And on top of those 3 ejections made from the game, we see Angel Reese on Twitter cackling and kikiing and giggling, talking about if I was there on the court and God just be knowing, you know, not to put me in certain situations. I'm like, okay, but girl, sister girl, Miss Thing, where is you at?
So no, I'm not surprised she's quit again. This isn't news, it's confirmation. Angel Reese doesn't want to play ball. She wants to be famous. And in today's world, she can probably keep doing that without ever stepping back on the court. But one day, the likes will slow down, the endorsements will dry up, and the only thing left will be her record, and that's not something you can filter or Photoshop your way out of. And that's the part nobody's telling her. Fame without foundation fades. Caitlin Clark is proof of that. She's not chasing the spotlight. The spotlight's chasing her. because she's putting in the kind of effort that demands attention. If Reese doesn't want to do the same, that's her choice. But let's stop pretending she's something she's not. She's not a franchise savior, she's not the face of the league, and she's definitely not interested in the grind it takes to earn those titles. She's a personality in search of a platform, and Chicago just found out the cost of giving her one.
Trash. She refused to travel with the team to Connecticut, obviously showing a complete lack of leadership. Man. Caitlin Clark's been hurt. She traveling with the team, supporting on the bench. You're supposed to be there with your troops. You're supposed to be there with your troops, cheering them on. You know what I'm saying? Giving them that energy from the bench, from the sideline, whatever. She not even traveling with the team, y'all.
The Sky season will go on, with or without her. And honestly, they might be better off without the distraction. Because a team without a true leader can still find one, but a team built around someone who's not invested is doomed from the start. So here we are, once again, watching the same show with the same ending. Angel Reese has quit. Again. And the only people surprised are the ones who weren't paying attention the first time. And the wildest part? There's going to be a team out there willing to roll those dice again. Because in sports, people think they can fix players with flashy resumes and messy reputations. But you can't teach hunger. You can't coach someone into wanting it. Either you're built for the grind or you're not. And Reese? She's not. The Sky just found out the hard way. Again. And if you're still shocked, you haven't been paying attention. This isn't the plot twist, it's the rerun. Only difference is, now we all know how it ends.